We want to look into that and go, hey, if I haven't learned a song and I've been doing this for a set amount of time, maybe we need to reassess that. I always want my students to be working on the curriculum that I give them, but I always want them to have some kind of a song that we're also working on in the practice time. In today's episode of the Drum Show podcast, we are going to be looking at the 10 best practice techniques for beginners. And I guess these are great practice techniques, not just for beginners, for everyone, but specifically if you are a beginner, these are some tips for you. I wrote them all down so I don't forget them, that are going to be fantastic to help you make the most of your practice time, okay? So let's jump in. Start small. With whatever you're doing, start small. Whether it be the amount of time that you're allotting to your practice time, whether it be the amount of material you're working on. You know, I'm going to start practicing the drums. I'm going to practice for 15 minutes a day. It's a small amount of time. I'm going to practice one drum beat until I get it down. Boom. I'm going to practice one rudiment till I get it down, right? So it's very common if, let's say I've got a student, for me to have them working on one drum beat and one drum fill, or one drum exercise for the hands and feet. Like, we got to start simple. Later we can get more complex, but start simple. You want to start building that. It's a big step going from never played a song to playing a song on the drums. That's a huge step. It feels like such a big step, and I want to get you there as quick as possible. With the curriculum in my online drum school, there's something called the Warrior Way, which is a pre-made lesson plan for people just starting out, and it gets them up and playing a song in just a couple of lessons, because that's what we all want to be doing anyway, is playing a song, right? So start small. The next one is, and these aren't in any particular order, by the way. Learn songs as often as possible. I just mentioned it. I want to get you up and playing a song as quick as possible. I have talked to so many drummers where they're like, I've been playing for 6 months, I've never learned a song. I'm like, well, that sucks. Why don't do that? You know, I want to play music. I want to play it as often as I can. You know, it's fun. That's what we do this thing for. And so we want to look into that and go, hey, if I haven't learned a song and I've been doing this for a set amount of time, maybe we need to reassess that. I want you learning songs as often as possible. So I always want my students to be working on the curriculum that I give them, but I always want them to have some kind of a song that we're also working on in the practice time. So if you have 30 minutes to practice, spend 20 minutes on your whatever the exercises are, and then spend 10 minutes on the song, or 15 minutes on the exercise, 15 minutes on the song. I want you always, always, always practicing songs. You'll get so much better by keeping the music first and in the forefront. The next thing is stay with one topic until it is mastered. So we want to stay with that beat that we just started learning until we can play it well, until we can play it at a variety of tempos. Don't get it halfway and then, oh, it's kind of hard, and move on. Half learning is the biggest issue that I see, is it's just like, you didn't stick with it long enough. I'm sorry. I wish I could make you learn it faster. I can't. We just have to keep putting the reps in and keep putting the time in, and you will get better, but it's going to just take time. I can't give you a magic exercise. I've had students come to me before and they're like, you gave me a simple exercise. I'm like, yeah, well, you can't play it. So until you can do that, there's no magic exercise that's gonna, very rarely is it some magic exercise. Usually it's noticing what the issue is and then just working on it and putting in the time and the reps, right? There's a bunch of exercises that can get you to the same place. Okay, this next one is stay unemotional about your practice time, okay? So many of my students, they come in and by the time they talk to me, they've built themselves up and worked themselves up all into this, fuss. And it's like, hey, calm down. Let's stay unemotional about our practice time. Let's stay very facts driven. So we're going to be looking at what did we do yesterday? What have we done well lately? What can we do better? Those kinds of things. And once you find those things, you just keep marching towards those. You just keep pushing yourself to do those and not get upset because you're not making the progress that you want to, or something like that. The next one, show up. These are quick. I want you to have some quick tips that you can get. Show up regularly, okay? You don't have to show up every day, but you need to show up more days than not. And it needs to be a regular occurrence. This happens every day around this time or whatever, because we're trying to build that habit. So show up regularly, start small, learn songs as often as possible, stay with one topic until it's mastered, stay unemotional about your practice time, and then keep a practice journal. That's going to help us whenever we're starting to feel emotional on practice, that we're able to look back and go, it's not like you can't get excited, it's just like you can't let your practice time and learning this instrument be dictated by how you feel that day. So we can look back and go, oh, well, I made this progress, and now I'm going on to here. And the practice journal it's such a heavyweight when it comes to helping you feel good about the progress that you're making, because you are making progress. It just takes time. Use video to review your playing. This is a simple one, and the quicker I can get students to begin doing it, the better they can see their. Many times I don't even have to tell them what the issue is. They're like, oh, I can hear them doing this. Well, yeah, I can hear that too. Let's go fix it, right? So a lot of times it does the teaching for you. So I would suggest almost every day just kind of videoing yourself a little bit and then spending some time reviewing it. That can be at the end of your practice time. It can be at the beginning of the next day. It can be away from your practice time. But set aside some time that you sit there and you kind of review what you're doing. And again, keep it unemotional. We're not beating ourselves up. We're scientists looking for discoveries and facts. We're archaeologists. We're just in a dig here. We're just trying to find things, Archaeologists don't get all emotional that they can't, that they unearthed something they didn't expect. It's like, okay, well, now we've got a problem. We've got to figure out how to get this out of here. We got to figure out how to, unearth more of this or something like that. So don't ignore your mistakes. Whenever you playing a song and you come to a mistake, stop and fix those mistakes. Don't keep trying to play the song over and over. The mistake's not going to fix itself. This podcast is brought to you by the Drum Better Daily program. That's actually my online drum school that I've run now for 12 plus years. Not only have I been playing the drums professionally since the age of 15, I've been teaching since the age of 18. Matter of fact, I talked to one of my first student a few days ago. I actually called him to see if he could sub a gig out for me. Daniel, love you, man. And he's still playing. He's still doing it on a pro level. And I have been committed to teaching for 22 plus years now. I would love to have you go check it out at stevensdrumshed.com. You can find a link to that in the show notes or video description, whichever platform you're watching it on. But it truly is a community of like-minded drummers where we are striving to just be the best that we can be at the drums. In addition to over 70 pre-recorded drum courses, there's also a tech talk area where we talk about everything technology related as it pertains to the drums, e-kits, recording, doing videos, all of that stuff. There are forums where you can hang out with the other students as well. We do 2 live video student calls every week that you can join if you'd like to. We do guest artist calls monthly, and I'll even make you a personalized lesson plan if that's what you need. Yes, we talk about the nuts and bolts of drumming. Yes, I give you exercises, but we also talk a lot about how to practice more efficiently, how to practice better, and how to get more out of your practice time. I know you're just like me. You're busy, you're being pulled by work, by family, by friends, by other responsibilities. Whenever you practice, you really want to see gains and have it be productive. That is what we focus on in the Drum Better Daily program. I'll have to say personally, it's been really cool because some of these students I've worked with for over 12 years, we started running drum camps here in 2022, and I got to meet some of them in person for the first time. Those drum camps have been selling out, blowing my mind with how much fun they are and how great a time it is to bring the community together in person. I'd love to have you be a part of it. When you're playing an exercise and you've got a mistake in the exercise, stop, assess what was happening in the exercise, and fix it. Don't just keep playing. You got to stop. Now, at some point we have to get to where we run the exercise and make mental notes of what's going on. That's also, you're addressing the mistakes. You may not stop the playing, but you're addressing the mistakes, so creating that feedback loop. But all too often I see, students, they make a mistake, they keep going, and I'm like, well, how'd it go? Oh, it went okay. Well, what were the mistakes? Well, I don't remember. Okay, mistakes are super important. Every one of them matters. I remember listening to one of the players for the Lions, I think it was, football team, a couple weeks ago. He was new to the team, and he said, crazy thing about the coach is he makes every mistake feel like it's the end of the world. Why? He doesn't want you to gloss that over. This is a mistake that can cost us the game. You're not, maybe something, I coach my son's flag football team. Maybe you're not accepting the handoffs correctly. Look, your elbows are out. Whenever your elbows are out, those gates are open, right? So you gotta snap down on that ball, make sure you've secured it in a little, nest. Use your body. Like, there's very small things that when ignored cause big repercussions when we get into a game, right? Not following through with the catch, turning away too soon, You've made a mistake, and so you don't follow up and try to fix that mistake on the field. Like, there's so many things that can happen that are very small that can affect the game in a very big way. It's the same way with our playing. So don't gloss over mistakes and ignore them. I talked about this earlier, but avoid half learning. Half learning is when we've learned something, but we can't incorporate it into our playing yet. Okay, that is going to be a huge one for so many of you. If you feel like you've learned something you haven't put in your playing, that's the next job. All too often we learn this thing, we have our gig bag, we have our practice bag. So I'm constantly wanting to bring things from my practice time into my gig bag. And so that I consciously have to go, okay, now I'm going to play through this song and I'm going to try to play this skill in this song musically where it's appropriate. So always try to avoid that half learning. Avoid leaving a topic before you know how to implement it and use it in your playing. Don't quit. Don't quit. This doesn't seem like a practice technique, but grit is your biggest companion. It is your biggest helper. If you would just, sit down and decide, I'm not going to quit no matter how hard this gets. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. Okay? And this last one, you're like, Stephen, that was 10. It's a bonus one. Have fun. Have fun. They call it playing music. They don't call it, the chore of music. It's playing music. It's not the job of music. Oh, I guess for me it's a job. But I still have fun. It's playing music. You have to be able to connect with that inner child and allow yourself to have fun. Allow yourself to enjoy it. Allow yourself to do yourself this service of being able to engage in the arts and create and have fun learning an instrument. If you do that, you're going to be okay, even if you just started the instrument. If you need some help, I'd love to help you. You can check out my online drum school. Links are obviously in the show notes, as they usually are below the video if you're watching this on YouTube, and I'd love to help you. If you just have questions, you can email help@stevensdrumshed.com, or there's a little chat bot on the website, and we'd love to chat with you too.